Heidi ho bags, YouTube! Well, just got back from Memphis, Tennessee last night, and I killed a pot of coffee this morning already. This afternoon, sorry. And now we gotta go change a wheel bearing in the Corsica, because it's fucking cooked. Oh, normally when you have a wheel bearing go out, it starts making noise around 60k. You know, 35 miles an hour. In my case, mine's starting to howl at like 5 kilometers an hour, which is like 2 miles an hour, so time for a new one. Well, in my case, not new, so I don't feel like spending 130 bucks. So wham bam, there we go. It's all fucking covered in grease. There we go. Yep, so there she be. This one spins quietly even though it's used. No big deal. It's all good. And these big axle nuts just arrived. My buddy just dropped them off. Because that axle nut's a big socket. And very big hex keys to get the bolts out that hold the bearing in. Cool. And then my regular small tool case there just to do the rest of it. Alrighty, step one, obviously, while the tire's still on the ground, loosen off the wheel nuts. Just a little bit, of course. Wheel's off the ground now, by the way. And then jack up your car. 4 jacks work better than these, but this is what I got to work with. Never forget to place a safety stand. Very important. Pull your wheel off now. Now since you're in here anyway, inspect things like your ball joint, your sway bar links, and the sway bar itself. Your rear bushings, this one's starting to go bad, as you can see it's pulling out. Check your sway bar bushings and your CV axle. These ones are actually both starting to wear out, so you can check your tie rod too. Next step, remove your brake caliper. On these GMs, the bolt to take the caliper out is like this. They're hex style. Now if you have a socket, that's great, but I don't, so they take a bit of persuasion. And she's starting to turn now. Remember to make sure you do this the right way, or you're going to be asking for all sorts of problems. Now the caliper's loose and ready to go off, but I'm going to show you a little trick before we pull it off. This is for when you reassemble. Usually these are a big pain in the ass to get the pads back over the disc. So just take a flathead screwdriver, you wedge it in here, see, and then pull backwards, and this compresses the piston, the brake piston here, and then it'll just slide out, and it'll just slide back on too. Sweet. Now remove the brake rotor. Why not inspect it since you got it off anyway, and mine looks good. They're not very old. Now put the car in neutral, and you got to turn this big hole to line up with these 3 bolts. And before we do that, we're going to break this off, so don't actually leave your car in park and make sure that far wheel is still touching the ground. We're going to crack this off next. Okay, we got our breaker bar here and our 30mm socket. Now these are usually very, very tight. You're probably going to have to step on this bar to break it loose, which I already did. And then just replace the breaker bar with your 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Air tools work great for this too. Now just pull that nut right off. And leave the nut just at the end of the shaft here, a few threads. Give it a few taps. Okay. Good. Okay, put the car in neutral. But before you do that, chalk the rear wheel. I use an exhaust manifold. Okay, now turn this big hole. So you got two small ones and then the big one. Turn the big one to line up with this hex bolt, or the Torx bolt, and then start cranking these out. There's 3 of them. Alright, here's my new used wheel bearing, fully installed. Make sure you tighten these real good when you put them back in. They're going to be tough to get out. Make sure you ream them in real good. Since you're in here anyway, get some lube, brake lube. Clean off your contact points and slap that in there. May as well since you're already in. So now, brake rotor, throw your caliper on. That should slide on nice and easy. Remember how we took it off. And slap your wheel back on. Here's the old bearing. Check this out. I don't know if you'll hear it because of the music, so. But she's dead. Shake it, you can feel the play in it. Yeah, she's done. She is done. Just a little bit of play in it. So, this is a little bit better. They should never be that free and clunky and chunky feeling. Yep. Alright, so throw your caliper on, your wheel back on, go for a test drive. Okay. Got a little bit of a temporary wiring job here. Check this out. These are going to hide behind the white grill. Like a cop car. And, what's that? They put the toggle switches in the dash. It might fool a person. So there's the switch for the strobes and the siren. Cool.